I am often asked about one popular question: what is a virtual machine and what is a Docker? Okay, let me help you understand this in the simplest form. Let us consider an example of a laptop. I have a laptop, and in this laptop, it is running a Windows machine. And in this laptop, I have installed a software called, any popular virtual machines called the VMware or the virtual PC or the VirtualBox or Microsoft's Hyper-V, hypervisor is called Hyper-V, or Zen, Proxmox, or any of kind of virtualization softwares. I put in these VM softwares in place, and on top of this VM softwares, what I do is I can actually install another operating system itself on top of this existing operating system. Now what happens is, this operating system is called the host operating system, and instances of VM running, other operating system would be called as a guest operating system. So we have a host operating system and a guest OS running on top of the host operating system. This is very clear. Now assume we have 3 guest operating system running on top of the host operating system: A, B and C. A is running virtual machine. The system B is running VirtualBox. System C is running virtual PC. These are different kinds of virtual machines. Now what happens? I install Windows on each of this and have PHP installed on one system, Java installed on another system, and Node installed on another system. And on top of these, I actually have applications written and running on each of these OS, right? So there are 3 operating systems running on top of the host OS, which is the guest operating system. Guest OS 1, 2 and 3. In 1, 2 and 3, we are running PHP, Java and Node.js, right? These are the 3 different applications running, right? So can you imagine, we are actually running a whole operating system itself just for probably a small PHP code or a small Java code or a small Python code or a small Node code, right? We have to run a whole operating system. Can you understand how heavy it is, how resource hungry it is, right? On the contrary, let me help you understand what is Docker, right? For your information, these operating systems that we are talking about, right, they can also have the particular state of the operating system saved. This particular saved status of this operating system is called the snapshot, right? You can take snapshot of A, B and C in different instances and rerun these snapshots so that each of these operating system, host operating system, can be taken back to the same state as it was, with the respective software configuration and the software installed on the host OS, right? On the contrary, in Docker, it's very interesting, very beautiful, right? As you're aware, in the previous case, we had the host OS. On top of it, you put a virtual machine and guest OS. Here, you have a OS. On top of the OS, you install this application called Docker. This Docker is almost like the application layer for the whole system. And the interesting part is, it necessarily need not be Docker. It can be Docker alternatives like Podman, Pod, etc., Rocket, and a few more. These are all popular alternatives like how you have for VM virtual machines. These are all Docker alternatives for Docker. Now what you can do is, you can have PHP, Java and Node.js like how you saw in this example. You're having similar for Docker. But the interesting part is, you don't need to run the whole operating system in every isolated environment. You don't need to create a OS itself running on each environment. Instead, this application will run with what all is required from the OS as a dependency, which are offered by the Docker platform itself. Am I clear? So it is actually not fully virtualized. It is only virtualizing a portion of what the code actually needs and requires to run the application, right? I hope this is something that you're all able to understand. For example, most of you would have heard scenarios where, hey, this is working in my laptop, but when I try the code in his laptop, it is not working. That's most likely because of some configuration or dependency issues, isn't it? In most cases, when you have a VM image like ISO file or a OVA file, etc., and you try to reload it, what happens is all the configurations come back to the particular host OS. Similarly, when it is a Docker, what you have is, you have a Docker image for A, B and C. Application A, application B, application C. I'm not calling it system A, system B, system C. It's application A, B and C, because it is not a whole OS that's running, but only the application that is running, and the application will gives you all that is required for the application to function smoothly. This is the basics of what is a virtual machine versus what is Docker. So when something works in my laptop and does not work in his laptop, it simply means dependency issues. But when it is a Docker environment, I just share you a Docker file. So if an application works perfectly on my system, I take a Docker image of it and give you. It will certainly work on your environment if you are installing it over Docker. I hope this clarifies. Right? And the best part here is a Docker image can be installed on top of Google environment, which is GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and you can have it on Azure, you can have it on AWS, you can have it on your own data center as well. So it is definitely possible that something that works on your system will be working on these infrastructure. And the best part is once you host it on these infrastructure, you can scale it up or down as per your requirement. I hope this video clarifies you a little about what is a virtual machine and what is Docker. I hope this was some interest to you or some useful to you. In case you liked this, please consider subscribing. Thank you.